Welcome to Abuse Exposed, a podcast about the secret of abuse. Each episode, we deliver intriguing Christian and personal experiences on abuse and how to overcome it. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional mental or medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified mental health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical or mental condition. Now, here's your host, live from Texas, ISpeakMotivate.
Hello. This is ISpeakMotivate, and I'm so excited to be with you guys today here for episode 33. We are excited that you guys are sharing the podcast of over 800 listens. We started the podcast March 3rd, 2020. So thank you, new listeners, old listeners. It means a lot to us. Just period. It means a lot that you guys are taking the time to share the content, to educate yourselves, to contribute to the community, and to comment positive thoughts, and it just means so much because a lot of times abuse victims, survivors, thrivers, what have you, may feel alone in their story and their journey. And this podcast is a way that we can feel as if we have something, and we have a community. So the biggest hope and the biggest goal for this podcast is that we are here supporting each other day by day, So I want to thank you for that. Now we're going to get into a segment that we're going to call Quote of the Day. And there's something new that we're going to do, which is I'll read a random quote that I found from the internet related to abuse or encouragement or whatever. And we're just going to go through it and talk about it and just walking ourselves to healing every day through these different quotes that are helpful to us, that help us grow. Now, the quote of the day is related to accountability. And the quote says, "You can't change someone who doesn't see an issue in their actions." You can't change someone who doesn't see an issue in their actions. So, and this is a huge thing dealing with abusive relationships, is that we try to help, right? Extend that hand, try to find resources for them. They're hurting. They went through this and that, because we listen to their sob story. And what do we have? Empathy. We have compassion for that. And we try to do the best we can. And a lot of times, sadly, some victims give up their lives to make sure that the abuser feels as if they're the best, to feels as if they are someone, and then we neglect ourselves. Okay? We can't move on in a relationship that's someone that doesn't take accountability for their actions. We can't be in a relationship with someone that doesn't take accountability for their actions. You know why? It shows they're not willing to grow at all. And the thing is, as a human being, we should always be growing. We should always be transitioning. We should always be willing to say, you know what? That was wrong of me. And I'm not going to do that ever again. And the thing is, when a person doesn't see an issue in their actions, that's a dangerous individual. Because they will do anything to you. And I mean anything. No remorse. Which is why abuse is so dangerous. They have no remorse, period. No remorse. They will choke you out and not blink an eye. And that's the saddest thing. And that is why we have to remember You can't change someone who doesn't see an issue in their actions. They're not taking responsibility. They're not taking accountability. And which is why the abuse cycle continues. Because you know who's going to have to take that blame and accountability? You. They're not mature enough. Their ego is so fragile that they can't say, I'm wrong. They have to say, you did A, B, C, and D. That is why I reacted that way. They act as if they have all this confidence and this grandeur and all of this. But they can't say, you know what? I messed up. But you know what they want you to say? They want you to be accountable for the things that, mistakes you made, as well as their mistakes. And they want you to take it. They want you to be held accountable for things they did wrong, which is why abuse is so dangerous. Because abusers refuse to take accountability for their actions and learn from those harmful behaviors. Yes. They could have experienced childhood trauma. They could have experienced trauma in adulthood. They could have had the worst life story. But you know what? It doesn't give them an excuse to destroy you. Why should you be hurt? That's the question. Why should you have to take the heat for everything they've been through? It's not on you. It is not on you. You didn't do that to them. And you know what they have to do? Take accountability for their actions and their life. And say, you know what? I'm not a stable mind. I need to be by myself and heal because of the person I have become. That's what the abuser has to do and step back. It's nothing we can do. And trust me, I absolutely feel how it is to try to be empathetic to their stories and try to get resources for people to help them so they can grow. But you know what? We can't be their savior. They have to make the choice to want to be better. There's nothing we can do. People make their own choices. All we can do is make our own choice and say, you know what? They refuse to change their behavior, and I can't control their behavior. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to exit the relationship. I tried the best I could. I assisted them. I gave them, resources and things like that. They refused to even take responsibility. They were gaslighting me. They put me down, and that's against my boundary. So you know what? I'm going. Because what's happening? I'm dealing with a broken person that's trying to make me broken. Abusers want you to feel how they feel inside, even though they have a mask on that they are superior to you. However, they are depleted of self-esteem. They're depleted of self-esteem. That is why they must destroy anyone in their path. Which is why you must compliment them consistently. Which is why they can't do anything wrong. And you cannot make any suggestion or constructive criticism to them because their ego is so fragile. This is why this is so dangerous. Because when you come against the ego in an abusive relationship, they will react. It could be verbal, spiritual, financial, physical, sexual abuse that occurs. because they're retaliating. Even you just being who you are, loving, compassionate to other people, they're jealous of that. They're jealous of your personality. So you know what? In their eyes, you did something wrong. And they're going to make sure you pay for that. They make sure you isolate yourself so you become less and less and less of who you are. You are out and about. You are very fashionable, extroverted. They're going to make sure you regret every word you say. Watch every word you say. If you do say something, control what you wear, belittle you on what you wear, destroy your self-esteem as much as theirs are in order to feel superior, but still not feeling that way because their self-esteem is still won't be there because they refuse to heal. You know the saying, misery loves company. And they want you to join their company. Misery.com. That's where they're at, refusing to heal. And that is why this quote is so important. You can't change someone who doesn't see an issue in their own actions. If they're not taking accountability, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. Because they're refusing to be man enough or woman enough to say, you know what? I was wrong. And, I'm going to try to learn to be better and to do better. But if you don't feel as if nothing's wrong with you, you have no remorse. And guess what? You are willing to do anything to destroy someone and not blink an eye. Trust me. When you look in an abuser's eye and when they're inflicting pain on you, there is nothingness but darkness in their eyes. It is the scariest thing that you can ever see. And you're wondering if you're going to live. Period. That's what it is. Complete darkness, and you do not want to get to that point in a relationship, which is why I'm saying it's so important. When you see that someone don't see an issue in their actions, they don't take accountability or responsibility for their actions, run. Okay? Run. Because it only gets worse and more destructive. And you look in the mirror and you won't recognize yourself anymore. You won't know who you are for the longest time. And that takes a lot of time to heal. I'm still healing now to this day. Every day is getting better. But if we can avoid it by that red flag right there, which is seeing that someone refuses to take accountability, we can move forward in life so strong. So strong, because we are catching a potential danger in the future of that relationship. Cutting that off right there when you see that red flag alone of not taking accountability, it will help you so much. Because an abuser expects you to do 1,000,000 times more than they will ever do. They won't put forth a milli-inch of effort on their own behalf or yours. Okay? They want you to do everything for them because they feel as if they're the king or queen. And that's how it is. So you have to start the process of loving yourself and realizing that we can't control, no matter how loving we are, no matter how I need to be more thoughtful, maybe then they'll change. Oh, maybe if I do this and that, they'll change and we'll finally be the loving couple that I know we can be. I believe in him. I believe in her.